Good morning, everyone. Oh, that sounds not too bad. Pardon? Yeah, sure. Good morning. Oh, yeah, that's much better. And then it's almost noon anyway. So, welcome to the last of our Lunch Talks series for the 2021-2022 season. We're delighted that you're here. We're also delighted to have folks watching this as it's also being broadcast over Facebook. And for those of you who attend or watch it on Facebook and want to recommend these lunch talks to other folks, feel free to let them know that for a year now, we've been archiving them, and they are on the Tempe History Society website in an archive. And so anytime you want to take a look at a particular lunch talk again, or one that you might have missed, they will always be up online. So a couple of things. First, again, thanks to everyone that's here today. How many are members of the Tempe History Society? Okay, the rest of you get out. I mean, seriously, we're giving this for free, and you could be a member of the society. That would really help. We are always trying to increase our membership, and it's pretty cheap to be a member of the society. When we go for grants and look to sponsors, they want to know how many members we have, and we would like to say 12,000. So go out, become a member, and then you can come back in. Before we get to the program, I want to acknowledge Friendship Village, which has been a sponsor of the Lunch Talks now, I think, for almost 5 years. And we really appreciate that because it's helped us provide some honoraria to our speakers and provide some amenities to the Lunch Talks program. What will be happening come fall are some big changes to the Lunch Talks, which I'll talk to you about afterward. But before we get going, I would like to introduce you to Mark Young, who is the Director of Marketing at Friendship Village, and on behalf of them, he would like to express his welcome. Mark.
Hello. My name is Mark Young, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Sales here at Friendship Village of Tempe. Friendship Village of Tempe was established nearly 42 years ago as a life care, life plan community. Life plan is what we sell. It's our promise to you. If you become a resident of Friendship Village, we will take care of you for the rest of your life. No matter what curveball life may throw at you, we have a plan for that. Life Care gives you peace of mind that your out-of-pocket expenses will not change dramatically regardless of the levels of care you need. Life Care carries a tremendous amount of value. It gives you estate protection. It preserves family roles. It plans for the what-ifs. It provides great tax advantages, a guarantee of lifelong residency, but most importantly, control of your own decisions. As many of you know, we have been in an expansion mode, and in July of 2021, we opened our Mesquite building, which has 40 new apartment homes. However, we are only beginning. We recently began phase 2 of our expansion, which will offer 64 apartment homes, underground parking, and an impressive rooftop restaurant. If you would like a tour of the Mesquite building, please contact the marketing department, or you can go to our website, friendshipvillageaz.com, and there you can find a virtual tour. We are very proud to be a featured sponsor of the Tempe Historical Society and appreciate the different perspectives offered by the many speakers. Thank you for your time and enjoy the lunch talk.
Thank you, Mark, and we appreciate Friendship Village support over the years. As I've said, it probably would be not probably, it would be more difficult to get the quality presentations that we've been able to recruit if it wasn't for the support of Friendship Village. I was trying to figure out how to introduce our speaker, and it may be easier first to ask this question. How many people haven't heard of Jane Neuheisel? See, I don't really probably need the gentleman. Oh, heavens. You know, I could give you a whole bio and all of that, but Jane and Dick have been fixtures in Tempe for probably more years than they want to acknowledge. Good people from Wisconsin, although not as good as Minnesota. Well, I was born in, excuse me, I'm up here talking. Yeah, you betcha, for sure, for sure. Minnesota always feels, like being the big brother to Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin's pretty good, and they are cheesy in some regard, but that's another issue altogether. I do want to also make note before I introduce Jane, you have brought some flour from Hayden Flour Mills. They have been in business now for a number of years and have such regard for the history of the flour mill in Tempe that they secured the rights to use the name. They are not located in Tempe, they're located in Queen Creek. How many have heard of Queen Creek? But they're carrying on the tradition of the Hayden Flour Mills, and if you would like a chance to win a box of the flour and then make bread that you could bring here that we could all share, then feel free. If you already haven't entered, we'll have a drawing at the conclusion of today's program. So I could talk about Jane Neuheisel, who received the Legends honor last fall. I've got pages of material, but since everybody's heard of her, I don't know that we need to say anything else but give Jane Neuheisel a warm welcome. She says she's not a good public speaker. We will evaluate that. You'll have an evaluation sheet to grade her at the end of her presentation.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for coming. And we're here today to talk about Tempe's oldest landmark, and that would be Tempe Butte. And they have it up here, and I can see it up here. There's This is courtesy of the Tempe History Society, or the museum. It is one of their most famous treasures. This is a bird's eye map that was made in 1888, and you can see Tempe is developing a little bit. One of the things to look for, you notice at the back of the butte is the river. That was the mighty Salt River, Rio Salado. And exciting things are happening as we speak about the Rio reinvented, and so there's work going on. It is now Tempe Town Lake, which would warrant another whole program up here, which is an engineering marvel in itself. The other thing to notice is the saddle in the buttes. That is where they built Sun Devil Stadium, and that is where they play football, and people sit up on the mountain. They call it Piper's Peak, I think. Anyway, but they used to. I don't know if you can get up there anymore. Well, see, there you go. Anyway, Dick and I moved to Tempe in about 63. And we were here, we raised our 4 children here, and it took me till 2 years ago to climb that butte. I didn't know anything about it. I was introduced to it by my new friend Diane, who's back here. And it's magical. And it's like you look down and you're on this historic land, and then you look at you climb a little bit and you look at all the development, and it's just a miracle. And so I thought, gee, why don't more people know about it? Why don't more people support it? And it became my mission. I would like to see every child in the Tempe schools go to Tempe Butte at least once. And I've talked to the Tempe Elementary School, first Chris Bush, and now the new superintendent, Dr. Driscoll, and they love the idea. And so what we have to do is form some kind of an educational program to prepare them for all the history that they're going to see. And I think all good things in life start, if you want to do a project, you got to start with the kids. And so we'll start with the kids, and they will fall in love with the Butte, and they'll grow up and support it and give it money, and that's what my mission is right now. So anyway, they gave me this thing. This is your Dyer map, and let's see what happens. Okay, so we do know that this area around the Butte has been inhabited since ancient times. And I did do a little information sheet. It names all the tribes. Right now, there are connected to this Butte that consider it sacred, that we call them the 4 Southern Tribes. And they have to be involved in any kind of an education program that we can design for our children and our families. And so this is one of the ancient petroglyphs that are still there. I read somewhere there's 500 of them, but I also read that many, many have been lost, and from graffiti and from weather and things like that. So let's see if this thing works. Here comes Charles Trumbull Hayden, and we've all heard about him. And he was, I guess in today's language, we'd call him a go-getter. He was quite the businessman, and his business, one of them, was freight wagons full of goods, and he was at this time located in Tucson. He's trying to get his wagons up to Prescott. He gets as far as Tempe, and he can't get across the river. It's too high, it's too swift, so he has to wait. And the story goes that he climbed the Butte. And he got up there and he could see all this land and all the possibilities. And so, being the go-getter that he was, he came to Tempe, and the first thing he did was, well, I don't know if it was the first thing, but anyway, he built a ferry to get people across the river. These pictures are all courtesy of the museum. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Anyway, he built a ferry. It's in here somewhere. Whoop, go back. Help me out here, there. And I hope someday that some group builds a ferry and that you can have a ferry ride across our Tempe Town Lake, because for a long time, Tempe was named Hayden's Ferry, and then it became Tempe, and that's another whole story. But anyway, Charles was quite the guy, and he built his home. He built, which is still standing. We have Kate here to talk about that. And then he built a blacksmith shop, carpenter shop, general store. He was a busy guy, and today we celebrate him every year with the Don Carlos Award. I think a lot of you have heard of that. It goes to a humanitarian of the year here in Tempe, and they named it Don Carlos because that was what the Spanish-speaking people called him, because of his kindness and his helpfulness for them. So anyway, now we're going to go to that next picture. Whoops. We're going to back up. Here is, okay, I have to have a lighter touch. I don't want that one yet. I don't want that one. There it is. We're going to talk about, ASU sits at the foot of the Butte. And it's an interesting story how ASU started as a territorial normal school, and they wanted it in Tucson, but it got to Tempe. I think there were even politics back in those days. So anyway, they started with in a 4-room building, and they had 33 students. And then as the college grew, they built Old Main, which is beautifully preserved and still on the campus and still in use. And so now, when it was the normal school, they called the students normals. And they made a big N on the mountain. Well then, it changed over the years to the Arizona Normal School or Tempe Normal School. It became Arizona State College and some other names that I didn't really document that well, but it didn't become Arizona State University till 1958. And we have with us James Randolph from ASU. He's going to talk about A Mountain. This Tempe Butte is so famous, it's got 3 names. It's got Tempe Butte, Hayden Butte, well, it's got 4 names, Hayden Preserve, and also A Mountain. So let's welcome James.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. How are you all today? All right.
I'll flick around for you.
Okay. So I have the privilege to take a moment just to talk a little bit about A Mountain, a little bit more about the history in terms of the letter that adorns Hayden Butte. Now, in this case, actually, for you all, how many, throw a number out there, how many letters have adorned Hayden Butte over the decades? We got 2 in the back. Yes. So how many letters have adorned Hayden Butte throughout the decades? We got 2 or 3. 2 back there, 2 or 3 up here. All right. So we can say probably about 3 letters or so. All right. But it wasn't always an A. Go figure, right? So actually, for you all, I'm just going to throw this out there. Another question. What letters do you think had adorned Hayden Butte? S. There's an N, H. Any others?
Oh, it was an N. We said that.
Yes. An N. All right. So I'm going to throw it out there. So we had an N, a T, and also the current A. All right. So back in, I would say, there's always been a letter for the last 100+ years that has been adorning A Mountain. In 1918, the graduating class of Tempe Normal School had installed the first letter, which is an N. At that point, it was a 36-foot tall N. It wasn't until about 1925, actually, I'm going to take it a little bit further. 1925, when Tempe Normal School became Arizona State Normal School, that's when they were thinking about changing the name or changing the letter, but it wasn't changed until 1928. So what they had done is that they took one of the sides of the N, or one of the straight pillars of the N, preserved it, and made it the stem for a T. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm taking it back. All right. So, but yes, they had it as a stem, and that was, again, 1925, but I'm sorry, 1928 is when they changed the name, but they didn't change I got all my years mixed up. So 1925, that's when the N became a T. Then 1928, it was changed to Arizona State Normal School. Then they didn't change the T to an A until a decade later in 1938. So my apologies. But it had stood tall until about 1952 when it got destroyed by a bomb blast. All right, the rumor has it was that school down south, but that's still to be determined, right? But yes, they had changed it. So the current A is a 60-foot tall from base to tip, made with reinforced steel and concrete. That was built in 1955. So today, the A that you see is that one that was built decades ago, and it continues to be home for many of ASU's traditions, including Echo from the Buttes, which is one of our other older longstanding traditions that started back in the 1930s. Homecoming, we still surround that there. Lantern Walk, ASU's oldest tradition back in 1917. So there's a lot of great experiences that we've had with A Mountain, and we work to preserve it. So in my role with the Alumni Association at ASU, I advise the Student Alumni Association, and we're the caregivers or the protectors, if you will, of traditions at ASU. One of which, yes, we strive to preserve Echo from the Buttes, which was formerly known as Whitewashing the A, but we had changed the name to come with current times, if you will. The name Whitewashing was an unsettling name for our students, so we have worked to create something that would tie back to the tradition of Arizona State. So Echo from the Buttes. Let's see.
So you can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how steep it is.
Yes.
And you can see how many students participate.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a great shot. This is the indigenous people at
Yes.
ASU.
Mm-hmm.
These students come to recognize their ancestors who lived at this butte generations ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talked to them, they said they are there to bless the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice part of it. So they're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops.
Oh.
Whoops.
Uh-oh.
What was that?
And then, yes, so those students were,
that?
uh-oh.
See, that's why you have to protect the butte.
Exactly.
Before every big game.
Yes, and we do take a lot of time. So the students I will mention, so the students that were previously shown, those were students from our Alliance of Indigenous Peoples, as well as the Voices of Otham Student Association. We work with them annually to make sure that we are instilling and preserving the site, if you will. So regularly having cleanups, making sure that the A Mountain stays nice and pretty for the community. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got it.
So we can get it on Facebook too.
Oh, okay.
All right. So then what Echo from the Buttes? How many of you are ASU alum? All right. Who can tell us what Echo from the Buttes or painting the A signifies? Ooh. Okay. All right. So that it signifies the start of a new year. So we'll paint it white. And then we'll do that for the first week until the start or the first home game, and then we'll paint it back to gold, and we'll keep it gold all year long, unless, we get the teams from down south or other Pac-12 teams, they like to paint the A, but we make sure that they don't paint it.
Thank you,
Yes,
James.
thank you.
And maybe our speakers will stay if you have questions at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good. And then for those of you that want to see the A from the 18th floor of our downtown is now recognizing the A as well, so I had to show you that picture. So now I'm just going to flip through a few pictures of the condition of the butte today. It's rough. But when you get up a little bit, you look around at all the development, even has the light rail. But look at these steps. Pretty hazardous. But I can make it, so I think you can make it. I'm in my 80s before I ever went up there, so I think, this is an interesting picture. At the top of the butte, they have a fence around it and a sign that says, "Go no further. This is sacred ground." Besides, I understand it's very rough and dangerous up there. Look at them. Gates open. I have a video of people just climbing over the fence. So there's no respect, and that's why we have to start with the kids. There is graffiti. Poor Leonard Monty's sign is riddled with, I don't know what they did to it. But anyway, he's another story of the butte. He hiked the butte almost daily for his exercise program. And there is a trail named for him. And the entrance is right to the west of the Sun Devil football stadium. You can go there. And that's the more gentle. It's a pretty steep trail. You can see, here's another example of how the city has tried hard to recognize the history and recognize our ancestors that lived there many years ago. and the plants and the animal life, and here it is with graffiti. Some people hike the butte, they get tired. And if you don't stay on the trail, you get injured. I was up there this one day, and the paramedics had to come and bring a lady down by a stretcher and take her to the hospital. So now it's time to hear from our beloved Kate Borders, who she is the executive director of Downtown Tempe Community, and she has developed another program to recognize the Butte. So please come up. Kate Borders, can we give her a little, thank you. Thank you, you're welcome.
All right, I don't typically like microphones. I like to stand out there and just talk to you because I'm pretty loud, but Vic will yell at me if I don't stand at the microphones, and I don't want to get yelled at by Vic. Do you guys know Vic very well? Yeah, don't ever get in trouble with Vic. So does anybody know what our organization is? Because I just want to briefly let you know why I'm here or who we are at all. So anybody heard of Downtown Tempe Authority? A little bit. Anybody heard of the Tempe Festival of the Arts? Yes? Anybody been to the Tempe Festival of the Arts? Okay, so we do that. So if nothing else, we produce that event twice a year for the community. But our organization exists to hopefully make downtown thrive. And to make a place like an urban district thrive, it is threading the needle between the preservation and embracing the new, which is not always easy, right? But, and when you hear from Lorenzo, I think all of us take projects, whether they're one specific project or how we look at a whole space, and try to preserve and kind of embrace at the same time. So if you ever have any questions about what our organization does, I'm happy to talk to you about that. We are not a government entity. So if there's ever confusion about that, we are not part of the cities. We're a separate entity paid for by property owners, not your tax dollars. Okay? So I just want to get that out there. But specifically around this preservation and the Butte and this building that you're looking at right here, we are now the tenants of this building, which is owned by the city. So I'm sure most of you ate at Monty's. It closed many years ago. And part of the agreement when the city sold the parcel to the developer that's building behind this was that they preserve this. And they asked them to do the tenant improvements first to ensure that nothing would accidentally, happen to the space. And so it didn't. We're in there every day, and it's a beautiful office. Reggie, what's Reggie's last name? Reggie McCabe is the foremost expert on Adobe. And so he actually repaired every single part of this building. So where the Adobe had been cracked or was missing, or entire sections of walls were burned or no longer protected, he came in and spent almost a year rebuilding every single piece of Adobe brick and used the silt from the river and went back to the old methods. And I have so many pictures of the Adobe being repaired. So I'm offering this to you right now. If anyone would like to coordinate a tour of our building, I'm happy to walk you through it because it is really, really pristine. And to keep it pristine, we don't hang art on the walls. Like, the walls are perfect. So please come and check it out at some point if you would like to. And in reference to the Butte, we actually created an event a couple of years ago during the pandemic, because our job is, as you know, Tempe Festival of the Arts, things like that. We're here to try to bring people to downtown, to try to get them to come out and do things. Well, during a pandemic, we couldn't really do that. We couldn't say, we want all of you to come to this event or this parade or, name your event poison. So we tried to think of something that would bring them to downtown separately. And so the idea that we came up with was the A Mountain Challenge. And it's actually happening right now for the second time. So people are encouraged to come and do the hike that Jane referenced doing. Yeah, there are some parts that are really steep. If you're in good shape, it takes 10 to 15 minutes to get all the way to the top. And then you come back down after a beautiful view. And if you do that 40 times, it is the equivalent of hiking Mount Everest. So our challenge to the community is, over a month-long period, hike Mount Everest in your own backyard, basically. And there are other markers along the way. So if you hike a certain number of times, it's camelback and, et cetera. So you can come do this challenge. And then we encourage them to go and enjoy restaurants, breakfast, lunch after the hike. So this is the second year we're doing it. And we have had numerous people. Of course, this is a social media generation, and we encourage people to take photos and post them. And almost all of them post pictures of them bringing garbage back down. So the kinds of people that want to do this are the kinds of people that want to preserve the mountain, which I think is, obviously we didn't know that going into it, but we were so grateful when that happened. And then another point I'd like to make in reference to the preservation and kind of you have said that it feels sometimes like there's disrespect, but I believe that that's changing. And I believe that even with how the city leadership views the mountain, we don't do fireworks anymore. And to some people, that was a disadvantage or a negative or, a symbol of the city kind of not celebrating, but it was actually the exact opposite. It was recognition that those fireworks and shell casings aren't good for the Butte. And that being the highest point and the most, visibly accessible, it wasn't something that we felt like we should keep doing. The cost was too high. So I think there are some things that are changing. But if anybody has any questions about our organization, what we do, which artists do you like the best at the art festival?
Tell them about Second Sundays.
Second Sundays is a new event that we started this year. It's sort of like a mini art festival. It's once a month on the second Sunday. So it's easy to remember. And we are now taking a break because we don't do it during the hot months. This past Sunday was the last one of the season, April, whatever that was, 9th or 10th. But we'll start up again in November, and it's essentially just Mill Avenue is closed, and we encourage people on those days to come and shop, and the merchants are invited to come out. We bring local makers and artists and have a little bit of food and drink. It's just sort of a sweet, calm event, and it's just during the day from 10 to 3. So come back in November to that. And yes, we do offer tours of the building on a regular basis. I bet Vic would give you a really good tour. So I just signed him up for that. All right, I will be here for questions. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Kate. So now, did Joe Forte come? I think he got held up. Anyway, Joe is relatively new to Tempe. He came out of the Navy and went to ASU, and he has started a fairly new organization called Keep Tempe Beautiful. And what he does, whoops, I went too far. This is one of his little crews of volunteers. He gets volunteers to go to the various parks. They have quite a schedule. You can check it on your website. If you want to volunteer or encourage somebody else to volunteer. They clean the parks. They clean up homeless sites. And they also have certain dates they go and clean the Butte and pick up trash and stuff. So Joe was going to tell you about his organization, and he got held up. So this, I think you all recognize. This is what's left of the Hayden Flour Mill, and it's going to be the center of attraction pretty soon. The city has given the green light to, and we have Lorenzo Perez here come to talk us what's going to happen in the future. Anyway, he is with Venture Projects and Sunbelt Holdings or something. Long title. Come on up, Lorenzo.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us here today. I'm Lorenzo Venue Projects, and Heidi Kimball's here with Sunbelt Holdings. We're very excited at the opportunity to engage in the conversation with City of Tempe. That's where we're at right now, to lead the effort for a sensitive adaptive redevelopment of the Hayden Flour Mill site. I was born and raised here, Phoenix, Arizona. I was sort of raised in Tempe. It was a second home for me. My grandparents lived in the neighborhood between Tempe High and Clark Park, so I was there almost every weekend growing up, and I actually grew up playing in the Salt River bed with my grandfather. He loved going around there. I had a lot of cousins, and I think to get us out of the house and away from my grandmother, he'd take us down there to blow some steam in Tempe Beach and go swimming at the old pool. Also went to ASU, grew up in Central Phoenix, but went to ASU and studied architecture at Arizona State University and graduated in 95. So anybody who's gone through the architecture design program has probably had a shot at doing a visioning exercise for what would we do with that site if we had the opportunity. So you can imagine how excited we were that this became a real life opportunity. I started my company about 13 years ago with my business partner. His name is John Kitchell. If you recognize that name, Kitchell, they're a prominent builder. His father was Sam Kitchell, who started Kitchell Contractors here in the Valley in 1950. And so I cut my teeth in early years. I was with Kitchell for 12 years. And John and I started our own company in 2008 to go out and try to do development differently. We were both, John was 3 months when he came to Arizona, and he just celebrated his 74th birthday on February 4th. And so John and I used to always have conversations about the demolition culture of Arizona, of Phoenix, how we are constantly trying to be another city or whatever. I was raised in Central Phoenix. My parents said the same thing, how sad the old Fox Theater, and I hear all these stories. I went to high school at Central High, so I loved being in downtown. And I think it's what sort of drew me into architecture. So we were really excited about the idea of starting a company that focused on urban redevelopment, preservation, reuse, adaptive reuse. And we just didn't have a lot of examples of that. We had a lot of examples of erase it and start new and let's try to create Disneyland time and time and time again. But we weren't really telling our Arizona stories or our culture. And so our whole business has focused on urban infill, adaptive reuse, and creative redevelopment. And we try to tell the old Arizona stories through creative preservation and reuse. And so that's what sort of motivated us, and we have a body of work. I encourage you to check out our website. It's venueprojects.com. And why venue? Well, venue for me was a great name to represent what we were about. And for us, I just sum it up in 4 statements: people, places, gathering spaces, distinct destination, and artful destinations. And so I think you'll see a pattern in that across our projects. And so this project comes with a lot of responsibility. It's super important to this community, to the state. I think it's important to get it done right. And if we do our job right and we do it thoughtfully, it'll outlive us all, right, for generations to come. I have an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old. I hope that their grandkids get to celebrate this place. So with that, I don't want to take too much time, but the idea that we pitched on the RFP was not so much an architectural direction yet. We hope to go through a pretty robust and proactive outreach process with the community, because we have learned in doing this work that when we go into neighborhoods, some of the best ideas come from the people who've lived around it or been in it or worked in those places. So we hope to have a lot of discussion around what people would like to see there. So what we did is pitched a big idea and really an approach, and really pitched a team from Arizona, right? There's been many efforts to go and redevelop this site, but one of the things that stood out to me, a lot of the people who are behind those weren't from here and valued it maybe, or had the perspective on it. So the approach we want to take is a very light touch approach. It's very sensitive to the site, to Arizona's weather, to its cultural and historical significance, to the 4 southern tribes. And I'm excited. We just reached out and connected with them last week, and we have so many questions. There's so much archaeological and historical studies done on the site and the relevance of it. So we hope through this redevelopment, we can create a place for the community, for people to come out. It already serves as an icon to downtown. It already is activated with the Butte and people coming and going around it. Hopefully, we just want to formalize that and make it something that's beautiful, that tells the story of the founding of Tempe, It tells the Arizona story. It tells the stories of the evolution of the mill and the role it played in serving the local economy and the community around it. And hopefully it serves as a beautiful backdrop where people can come together and enjoy an experience. So the big idea, commercial-oriented, mixed use, but a strong basis in culture, community, collaboration, commerce, and we talked culinary. So if you notice, there's the 5 C's of the Hayden Flour Mill for you old Arizonans, the 5 C's. We have our own 5 C's there to keep us focused. But with the 1950 silos and the old 1918 mill structure that's on, that parallels Mill Avenue, the idea is really to clean them up and just take them back to their original look. We want to treat them, in addition to Hayden Butte, as the stars of the campus. It's a 5-acre site, and be very intentional about what we build around it. And we see a series of 6 interconnected desert terraces that go from the Butte through this complex, the industrial complex, down to Mill Avenue. And we're going to be careful in where we place buildings that are secondary and subordinate in scale and mass. The new buildings will be really put on site to frame views, so we preserve our beautiful views of the mill and the buttes, but also to define those outdoor spaces. And we want it to be a very Arizona experience, indoor-outdoor. Anyone been to the Desert Botanical Garden? They've done a wonderful job of revegetating old and new up to their buttes. And so we've had the opportunity, we've done 7 projects with the garden. And so they were a big form of inspiration. There's several other projects across the country that have done great transformations of old industrial sites. But we hope it's a place where you can go with your families. We want it to be inclusive, people for all ages. We want to see the integration of arts and history and storytelling. And, the 4 Southern tribes are all about oral tradition, from what I read. So we'd like to learn. It's a place where you come and get educated, entertained, and enjoy beautiful outdoor weather, and hopefully get a good meal or so. So with that, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
I just have a question, Lorenzo. The video that you showed the commission the other day, is that on your website?
It's not.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, put it there. It's really informative, and I think it brings a sense of pride to what you're trying to do and what I hope you can do, and it will be the entrance to another beautiful historic entrance up our butte. So thank you. And the speakers are going to be here for questioning. If you have any questions, save them. I just have a couple more. There's my friend. Diana's on the left. She's the one that introduced me to the Butte. And you can see their gloves. They helped me. I was up there with a team of Boy Scouts cleaning up trash. And she was nice enough to come. She gets up at 5:30 every morning and goes up the Butte. That's her exercise program. Keeping her young, by the way. And then I told you I'm dedicated to getting people up this Butte, and I have pledged to take my 9 grandchildren up there. I have 8 grandsons. There's 2 of them. And we went the day after Christmas. They got me up and they got me down. So there's, so anyway, and there's my hiking buddy, Debbie. She's here today. I've been up several times now, and Debbie goes with me in case I don't make it or something. But anyway, we both enjoy it, and we always learn something new. And I think you talked about the Hayden Flour Mills, how they bought Jeff Zimmerman and his daughter bought the rights, Tempe guy, local guy, and they're making flour from seeds that they recaptured from seed banks, and that the old original seeds. So they're making flour, now they're making crackers, and now they're making pasta. So those 3 are going to be our raffle prizes. And did everybody get a ticket? So Debbie will bring the basket, and we'll have somebody pick the 3 winners. How's that? And I just want to give high marks while I'm here to the city, because they have not ignored this Butte. They've done a lot of work. I just think they need a little help. They in 1972 they named it a park, and then it became a preserve. And they commissioned, it's over 50 pages of a management plan for for Tempe Butte. It's very detailed and it's online. And if they do all those things, it's going to be wonderful. And then a couple years ago, they created the Tempe Desert Preservation Commission. And we have the chairman of that commission here today. Will you stand, Kim? Kim Gaffney Loza is here. And there's, 9 of us on that commission? I was going to wear my little badge today, I forgot. But anyway, we've been meeting now a couple years, mostly on Zoom. But now we can meet in person. And you wouldn't believe all the things you have to come up with to start with. But our job is to do the research, talk to people, get ideas. And everybody, I think, on the commission is behind some kind of an education program that people go up there and understand it and find it inspiring as our roots. So anyway, Debbie, who's going to draw the... Mary, you come draw. Yeah, 3 big winners here. You draw one. Don't look. I'm not looking. And you draw one. Well, this will be number 1. Yeah. Oh, you kind of got it first, right? Yeah, you get second choice. But anyway, I'm not at my desk here. I was told I have to stand by the mic because nobody can hear anything. I'm not.
Who got the last one?
Bob is in the blue shirt. So anyway, thank you all for coming. And do you have questions? Anybody got a question of any of our speakers? Yes, sir.
Whoa.
He brings the mic to you.
Yes, we need to let our viewers hear from you too.
Yeah, you mentioned the 4 tribes. I'm just curious what tribes they were.
Okay, I have it written down right here. Actually, they are, today would be the Maricopa and the, I'm so sorry, I have to put my glasses on. Yes, the 4 tribes are, actually, one is, who's got that information? I've got it, but I can't find it right now. I have contacted all of them. I got the contact from our city history office, and I've sent 2 emails, and I have not heard back from them, but you were able to contact them. Can you come up and tell what the names of the 4 tribes are? It's the
4 southern tribes are the Salt River, Pima, Maricopa Indian Community, the Gila River Indian Community, the Auchin, and the Tohono O'odham.
Yeah. Does that help you? Yeah. And so they consider this A Mountain quite sacred. They did ceremonies up there, and it was a lookout for them, and then they had their many farms. They were a complex society in the beginning with farming. They knew how to build canals, and many of the canals we see today followed the same paths and that. And I got to get a plug in for, Kate talked about downtown Tempe and all the festivals, and of course built right in that period when things were happening. In the late 1880s, we had Hackett House, and some of my Hackett House buddies are here. And that was Tempe's first bakery. And it's been repurposed to the headquarters for Tempe Sister City. So thank you all for coming.
I am new to Arizona, and I would like to know what are the streets that where the buttes are?
You want to know where the butte is, which streets? Well, the southern part would be University, or 6th. No, it's way past University. When I go to the butte, when I climb, I go up Mill to about 3rd Street. There's a parking lot there. And I go up behind the stacks, and that's a more gradual trail. Another entrance is on, I'm going to say 5th Street, And it's just west of the stadium. There's a big sign there. It's kind of the official entrance to the Butte, and you can park in the parking garage just down the street next to City Hall. So, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Are the hiking trails up the Butte open to hikers
Yes,
anytime,
ma'am.
or
Yes, they're open.
all the time?
All the time.
Awesome.
Well, I don't think they want you up there at night, you know. It's kind of steep.
you.
But you can go any
Closes
7
at
days a
10?
week.
I believe it closes at 10. Someone over here had a question? Yes, just one moment.
Wondering, the hockey stadium, where is that in relationship? The hockey stadium that they want to build?
What stadium? I
The
can't.
hockey?
Oh, that will be, if they build it down, do you know where Tempe Center for the Arts is? It will be beyond that, west of that. And I understand that,
It's around Priest and Rio Salado, so it's
Yeah.
quite a distance from the Butte.
will that project take up where they park a lot of city equipment and things like that? So that land could be put to better use than it is now. So it's an exciting project. Yes, sir.
Jane, who pays for the paint for the A Mountain? And do you ever
Well,
have
we're
to,
going to ask James. Where's
and
James?
do you have to chase off the
He
renegades?
left.
Are the renegades that try to paint it chased off sometime? Ones that are trying to paint it from
Someone said it took, I don't know, 60 gallons or something. It takes a lot of paint. It's 60 feet high. So I don't know who pays. We'll have to do a fundraiser for them. That's one thing I know how to do. Some of those renegades may get painted. Yeah. Well, and then you have to hurry. If somebody paints it red, white, and blue, like our school down south, then we have to hurry and paint over it right now.
Okay, I don't have a question. Oh, sorry. I don't have a question, but I just have a comment. A Mountain or Hayden Butte, Hayden Preserve, has one of the largest concentrations of fishhook mammillaria that I have ever seen. And you don't have to go all the way to the top. Right now, probably the hedgehog cactus are blooming, and in about a month, the mammillaria will be blooming. And it's well worth your while. It's maybe only about halfway up. As you go up, it'll be on your left-hand side. So I encourage everybody, if they have the opportunity, to go enjoy it. Thanks.
Yeah, Kim was very interested in the plantings in the desert, and she has a lot of knowledge about that, if you have any questions. Okay, are we
Other
done?
questions? I've got one that first, because I have my applause meter with me. First, bad speaker, good speaker.
I just want to add, I did prepare a little fact sheet that kind of covers and in more depth, and it names the 4 tribes.
We can put that on the.
And yeah,
back
I have
table,
them
wouldn't you?
here for those of you that want to follow up. And I'm here if you want to make a date to climb the Butte. Just come on and tell me.
There's one other
Thank
thing
you.
I wanted to bring up because I got a call last night from a fellow by the name of Peter Busick, who for a number of years has been attempting to work with the city to create an interpretive trail at the base of the Butte. And the thing that makes it interesting is the fact that he's willing to fund it, which is a substantial amount of money, about $1 million, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess I would ask Lorenzo, have you been in conversations with him, and how is that going?
Yeah, we actually, he was our very first conversation and introduction, and it's a very beautiful vision and would overlap nicely with what we've envisioned. So, and actually had the opportunity to go walk some trails in the Wild Horse Pass with him to see some interpretive examples. So, wonderful man, and I'm sure we'll be talking with him a lot more.
Very passionate, I might add. He's gone all over the city. He's been working on this for a number of years, so I thought I'd bring that up. Jane, first, thank you for coming. Wait, don't go off yet. We'll take care of the heavy lifting. I mean, we can do that. So, and besides, we don't want to hand these out until we've excused everybody. We don't want them getting up early and leaving. They've got a lot to say. So, the Butte is a remarkable piece of geology. It has been the standard for the whole development of this city. And even today, we can go to the various points on the Butte and stand exactly where a photographer stood 150 years ago. So it's suffered a lot of abuse over the years. In fact, it doesn't even appear today the way it did originally. On the northwest corner, there was a lot of surface mining of materials for construction and that sort of thing. The Butte extended further to the northwest than it does today. But if it wasn't for people like Jane and others who constantly bring to the community's attention the value of this Butte, I'm not sure where it would be. The petroglyphs, there's over 500 on the Butte, and with a trained guide taking you, you'd be surprised if you've ever climbed the Butte, how many times you've walked by something and never noticed it. So there's a huge effort to try to preserve the petroglyphs, because that's the tie to the prehistoric cultures that were here. And we think that the Butte also was probably the communication point between Mesa Grande and Pueblo Grande. If you consider there was nothing else in between and not many trees, just desert, Mesa Grande was one of the major points where water was controlled. And so there would have had to be communication between the two sites, and the Butte was obviously that. And there was farming, literally, it was said years ago, and a lot of it's true today, that you can't put a shovel in the ground without coming across something prehistoric. When the light rail went in, it's interesting that ruins and even remains were found less than 12 inches below the light rail. It's just absolutely remarkable. So,
I didn't get to talk about, I flipped past the picture, but there was a village at the south base of Tempe Butte, and it was called San Pablo, and it was mostly Spanish-speaking and Mexican people who came because there was work, and they farmed, and they knew how to make adobe bricks, and they dug canals, and they had their home there, and it was quite the little village. And gradually, as ASU grew, that village has disappeared, but the church is still there.
yes.
So that's a little piece of history.
And actually, we have some, it's a great piece of film. I'll talk about it in a minute, but we're trying to revive a film festival that we started just at the beginning of the pandemic, and we're not able to follow through. But there was a movie made in 1940 called Marked Men, and there's a couple of scenes that were filmed in San Pablo. So, yes, sir.
I would like to make a statement about the permanency of these landmarks like the Tempe Butte. I live out in Apache Junction, and just recently, within the last year and a half, there was a huge push by a commercial developer to take the twin buttes that are out there around Signal Butte Road and flatten them out. Just push them over and use that space for commercial endeavors. Had it not been for the efforts of all the people that lived around there, they got on it and jumped on it like a rooster on a June bug, and they got it stopped for now. But it seems that nothing lasts forever if you don't take care of it. So hats off to the city of Tempe. Hats off to all of you folks that are doing this. But just don't assume that it's going to be there forever.
Very good points. I'm still working on roosters jumping on June bugs. Haven't.
I'm sorry, I'm a farm boy.
I haven't heard that one though. Yes, citizen activism. Tempe has been a great community for that, and certainly Jane and Dick have been activists all of the time that they've been here. So Jane, I want to thank you, and just as a memento of your visit today, I didn't have one of the Hackett House, but this is...
I have one on the Hackett House.
Well, do you have La Casa Vieja? This is a Richard Nearing print. Richard Nearing was a terrific pen and ink artist who lived in Tempe, and this was his avocation that later in life, after he retired, he started doing this. I never liked him because of the talent that he had, but no, that's not funny. This is a limited edition print that is signed by Richard, 73 of 250. So thank you. Big hand.
I just want to point out, these maps, these dire maps, are available in the gift shop, as are these shirts. And they're $10 is all. And I had mine framed right down on Southern and McClintock by Mr. Baxter in there. I thought he did a beautiful job. I'm going to hang it in my office, and I'm very proud of it. I just want to give a little plug for the gift shop here, too. So, there's my friend Diane.
All right, thank you, Jane. And a couple of things before we wrap up. I want to recognize, and he doesn't always get the recognition that he deserves, the museum's everyman, Dan Miller, who is the one who is coordinating the cameras and getting this out on Facebook. And then I want to introduce you to the museum's newest employee, Brianna King, who is going to be in the role of community coordinator, working with the society to help us, excuse me, improve our programs, and we're looking forward to working with Brianna. And Dan is training her on the complexities of running 4 cameras and then linking this to Facebook. But keep in mind that, as I said at the beginning, these lunch talks are archived. So you can refer to them again online, or if you want to get somebody else who may not have been here to watch it, you'll find it on the Facebook page for the Tempe History Society. And I know that some people say, I don't do all of that, but we've got to all get in the 20th century here. So I just want to bring up a couple of things. The African American Advisory Committee will have their book club meeting here 6 to 7 on the 28th. There is an ongoing exhibit right now, which you're seeing in the room. The Tempe Union High School District Art Show runs through April 16th. The main exhibit in the gallery is Tempe 150. That's the one that was put together for the sesquicentennial, and that will run through May 28th. And then opening in this room, Tempe Sister Cities, 50 Years of Citizen Diplomacy. You wouldn't know anything about that.
I know all about it.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that opens on April 26th. So come fall, and we are making several changes. One will be hopefully reinstating food and coffee and some beverages and things that people are used to. But we're also expanding the Lunch Talk series. So it will begin in September rather than October, and will conclude in May. So that'll make a total of 8 lunch talks. So you might just want to put that on your calendar. September 14th is our first one, and our speaker is sitting in the back room. Al Kiwis is author. His books are oriented towards children and young adults, and we have some of them for sale in the gift shop. But following that presentation, there will be a book signing, and so I think that's going to be a great kickoff to our next season. Some other things that will be on the calendar: ASU School of Earth and Science Exploration. ASU is intimately involved with the space program and contributing a number of things that are up on Mars and on various satellites, that sort of thing. We had them here a couple of years ago, and it was very popular. We have something coming up on Tempe trains. I'm sure that most people know or should know that the first train into the valley came through Tempe, and for a short period of time, it stayed there until the bridge over the river was built. Then we have a program that features the Yaqui community, our neighbor just to the south. And Tempe has been a big help to the community of Yaqui, the Yaqui Guadalupe, I should say. And so that'll come in January. February is Black History Month, and we'll have a program about growing up in the South and stories my father told me. A very great speaker called Rosemary James. And then building a sense of place in eastern Arizona. These all tie into Tempe and in history. That'll come up in March, and we're not sure about the other two, but we're looking towards having someone down from Boyce Thompson Arboretum. If you've never been there, it's an absolutely fabulous place. And then we're hoping to have a presentation, and some of you may remember the great flower farms on Baseline Road. It was one of the highlights, I think, in the valley. And so we're working on pulling all of that together. So it really is going to be a summer where we regroup. We think and are praying that we're done with COVID in a way that keeps people apart. We can bring everybody together. And so I wish you a wonderful and safe and happy summer. Hopefully you can do a little bit of traveling and then join us in September. Thank you very much. Oh, yes, one other thing. Does everybody know Francine Reed? She is an incredible institution in Tempe, in Arizona, jazz singer. And she will be here, and I don't know, I've got that right in front of me. What's the date? May 6th. This place, I guarantee, will be packed. And Dan, are you going to stream it? So I'm not going to tell people that. We want them to come out here. So it's not going to be streamed. It's not going to be streamed. You got to come here and see Francine Reed, a true institution. All right, I think we got it covered. Thank you all. Have a great summer.